I'm Michael Bain, and welcome to this week's Triggered, coming to you, of course, from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains and Dragon House Studios, brought to you by MTM Guard this week. And I go on the internet and I see my friend Richard Mann, who, of course, is a hunting and guns editor for Field and Stream, and easily, and this is my opinion, is one of the best outdoor writers working in the world today. And Richard and I have, of course, been to Africa twice with Jeffrey Wayland at Fort Richmond Safaris. And Richard said, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do a handgun safari with Jeffrey? All of a sudden light bulbs go off, because that's usually how I end up going on these trips with Richard. But as soon as he said that, I thought I really needed to take a look at my boomer stash. So I opened my safe, my big safe, and I went all the way to the back. I mean, this is the back where there are like cobwebs and dark caves, even bats. And I hauled out 3 big boomers. Now, these boomers all have one thing in common. They're long cylinder stretch frame like the Smith & Wesson X frame. They are powerful handguns, and were I to go to Africa on a handgun hunt, 1 or maybe 2 of these guys would be going with me. So I thought I'd take you through them here. First one I want to talk about is the newest one. This is a Raging Hunter from Taurus, and it is in .460 Smith & Wesson Magnum. As I said before, I had the first Raging Hunter 44 Magnum. Easily the best new hunting handgun of the year when it came out. It's a magnificent gun. .460, a cartridge designed by Smith & Wesson for longer range handgun hunting. That means move that line from maybe 100 yards to 200 yards. It's a powerful cartridge, and this is a cupcake of a gun to shoot in it. Of the big bores on this table, this gun is easily the one that will not give you that bad a carpal tunnel syndrome. The reason this gun has a scope on it is, once again, it was designed to reach out. Now, typically, I think of handgun hunting inside of 100 yards. This is an old Nikon handgun hunting scope, 2.5 to 8, I think. The 2.5, 3, and 4 are really valuable to me. It's got a bullet drop reticle, which is effectively worthless. And it allows you, with a good stand, a tripod, bipod, a good set, you can reach out that extra 100 yards. But you're going to have to put a lot of practice into it to do that. Also, there was a shortage for a while of .460 Smith & Wesson Magnum ammunition. That shortage has passed. At least Hornady, Federal, and several Underwood, and of course S&B, are all available for it now, or you can work up some really great handguns. When we come back, we're going to look at a couple more of Michael's wrist busters. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Rossi. The legend continues. Stoger, Everyday Tough. Hunter's HD Gold. They change so you don't have to. MTM Case Guard. Quality shooting sports accessories. And Ed Brown, the best money can buy for over 50 years. Welcome back to Triggered and Michael's Wrist Busters. Okay, you saw the .460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, 4570, 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Interesting thing, if you want an apples-to-apples comparison, using 300 grain bullets, the velocity for all 3 of these cartridges is just under 2,100 feet per second, which means they pretty much have matching foot-pounds of energy. So at 300 grains, these are very similar cartridges. Some years back, I polled my listeners on the podcast and asked them what gun they would like to see me buy and shoot. This was the choice. It's a Magnum Research BFR, biggest, finest revolver, in 4570, proving there's probably something wrong with my listeners on the podcast. But I got this gun. I put this dot on it. It's an old Burris speed dot that I've used on .22 rimfire. I've had the thing 100 years, and took this gun to FTW Ranch in Texas. And me and lead instructor Doug Dog Pritchard put 150 rounds through it, because this is a fun gun to shoot. 4570 doesn't deliver recoil as fast as some of the other Magnum cartridges. So he and I sat there, shot at 25 yards, 50, 75-yard plates, 100-yard plates, 150-yard plates. It's an easy gun to shoot, and I actually like it a lot. I like 4570. I'm familiar with the round. I always have a lot of 4570 ammo, brass components on hand. This is a cool gun. This would go great in Africa, wouldn't it? The last wrist buster that I do want to show you, and I mean, what wrist busters show, wouldn't be complete unless you hauled in this guy. This is, of course, Smith & Wesson 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. A boomer of a cartridge. Interestingly enough, this is a first generation gun. I got it in like 2003 and shot it a bunch at Thunder Ranch. Does it buck and roar? Yeah, it does. Not so bad. It's got their compensator on it, which does in fact work. And since it came out, of course, now there is dozens and dozens of different loads for the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. These are Arms Corps, interestingly enough, and they're pretty good. You know, also, they don't hit you quite as hard as some of the others. Any one of these guns would be a good choice for African Plains game or dangerous game with the right type of bullet. The other thing I want to say to you is we laugh about these wrist breakers. These guns can hurt you. If your technique is bad, if you're sloppy with them, these guns can really do you some pain. Now, if you're interested more in handgun hunting, there's some great books. Mark Hampton has one, Kat Ainsworth has one, my friend Max Prasik has one. And you can check out those books, of course, and when we come back, we're going to talk about something small.
You know the RIA 5.0 packs radically new innovations, but we didn't stop there. Introducing the RIA 5.0E. The E stands for enhanced, as in new optics cuts and plates. The updated barrel is crafted with improved materials and slide geometry. The look and feel is also enhanced. Plus, new lightning cuts show off the updated match-grade barrel. Experience the enhanced RIA 5.0E today.
Welcome back to Triggered. This is, of course, a Kahr PM9, which I have always contended is one of the finest pocket pistols you can have. Long, double-action trigger pull. The gun itself, 9mm, about the size of a J-frame, about the size of a Ruger LCR. But you got 6+1, comes with a 7+1 magazine. Now, as we know, the market has shifted toward the higher capacity guns. And Kahr Arms has a double stack gun coming. We talked about it a little in our SHOT Show, where they had one at the Kahr booth, but they were only showing it to you like, hey, step back here and take a look at this. It wasn't out. Well, I heard from Kahr this week, and they said the gun, the X9, which is their double stack Kahr, is going to be introduced at the NRA show. They think they will have some in the pipeline by June, so probably 60 days after the real introduction, they're going to have those guns. Now, the reason I put the PM9 up here is the X9 is very similar to this gun, a little bit wider and half an inch longer barrel. This is a 3-point a little bit barrel. And the X9 barrel will be something like 3.5 inches, but the butt is very similar. It comes with a 10-round, extended 15-round magazine, and the home run on the X9, the thing I think is really brilliant, and Justin Moon, of course, who owns Kahr Arms, Magnum Research, has been a friend of mine for a long time. But the cool thing about the X9 is it will take SIG 365 and Springfield Hellcat magazines, of which there are roughly billions available out there. So that is something I'm looking forward to. It's also going to come optics ready, which I've told you this before. A gun has to be optics ready in this market. You may not like optics on your gun, but it has to be on the gun. So as soon as I can lay my hands on an X9, you'll see it here. I'm Michael Bain. This is Triggered, brought to you by my favorite great big plastic box manufacturer, MTM Case Guard. You can find us at michaelbain.tv, where we are always free. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Rumble. You can find us on X. Until next week, you guys stay safe out there.